Let's see. So what is Ayurveda? Around 5,000 years ago, there were these yogic seers who lived in the rainforests of India, and they wanted to understand more about life. They became one with nature. They were observing nature, they were meditating in nature, almost so that they formed a relationship with nature for nature to share its secrets with them. What are the secrets that they found? Well, there are huge books which write about these secrets. They are called the Vedas. We have 4 encyclopedias of ancient wisdom in India. And thanks to that encyclopedia, even today, we know what these people found out. One of this wisdom is yoga, which all of you know, and Ayurveda is a sister science of yoga. I want to add over here something interesting. These yogic seers were not just men, they were both men and women, which I found very interesting. This is what these, so Ayurveda has a huge sea of knowledge, but I'm only going to touch upon some key points from that. It is the ancient system of medicine. It was so advanced that it had 8 branches of medicine, and they were even conducting surgeries more than 5,000 years ago. It is a sister science of yoga. It's empirical data. So this is data which has not come from a lab. This is data which has been validated over people over 5,000 years. It recognizes body and mind are connected. We all know that when we have an exam, more often than not, we can have loose motions. So we all know that body and mind are connected. Whole unique body. So Ayurveda believes that you and me are very unique because of our basic constitution. In the sense, I'm going to touch upon a little about energy. There are 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. Everything is made up of these elements. So if Bree has more water in her and I have more air, doesn't mean that I need to try to get more. What did Bree have? Water? Whatever Bree has. I got a little confused there. But doesn't mean that I need to be Bree and Bree needs to be me. So it recognizes that you're unique. If I am sick with a stomach pain, the cause for my sickness can be different from the cause for her sickness, even if she has a stomach pain. So that's why the solutions and the remedies are different, uniquely designed for you. It recognizes energies. So the body is run by an energy around us, just like if you imagine a bulb. The bulb is like our body, but electricity that runs the bulb is the energy. We can recognize ill health early when we listen to the signs of our body. Our body is always talking to us. And because we recognize ill health early, we can prevent a lot of problems later. Body is very powerful. It can heal itself. I give you a tiny example. When we have a fracture, the doctor sets the bone for us, correct? Who does the healing? The body. The body can heal something so hard like a bone. Can you imagine how powerful it is? And we are nature. When we ask people, give me example of nature, you will say trees, animals. Will you ever say me? No, but we are nature. So these are the highlights of Ayurveda. And what Ayurveda does is, I don't know how many of you are into gardening, but sometimes when there's a plant attacked by an insect, you can either help the plant by spraying insecticide on it, or you can feed the plant to make it so strong that it can fight its own battle. What Ayurveda does is it helps you bring your body to a level where it can fight its own battle. Okay. This you can quickly read. These are Ayurvedic markers of optimum health. And before you read, actually, I want to say I am in awe of modern medicine. And this Ayurveda is completely complementary to modern medicine. And they are doing amazing work. And it's great if we, for our own sake, can learn to complement these two sciences. Okay, now you are free to read this slide. Ayurveda says that health doesn't mean the absence of disease. That is not health. Health is when you can experience all these markers, which you can see on the slide right now. I'll give you 2 minutes to read them. Could you imagine that even earning money through illegitimate means that your body is out of balance? That is how connected the mind and body are. I want to give you one more example. If the body is having a problem, the mind is affected. For example, if you are having, suppose constipation, the mind will have anxiety. And the vice versa is true. If you are anxious, the body will manifest that anxiety as constipation. So just give you an example here. What is the goal for today? You have enough webinars today online, enough webinars, and they will talk about so many things. I have attended and I go home and I forget almost everything. And I didn't want that to happen to you today. So I thought, you know what? Let me give you a glimpse of what it is to see and study nature, to get out of our own, the blinders that we are wearing, to remove the blinders and look outside and see what is happening around us. When we know what's happening around us, we will know what we need to do to balance with that. Okay, so now this is where your pen and paper comes in handy. I will like all of you to start writing this. First question is, how do you know fall season is on its way? So leaves change color. There will be some other examples that will come to you. And the second one is, how do you know fall season is on its way personally? Like I know my hands start drying up. I had a relative who could feel her arthritis acting up when fall was coming close, and she knew, okay, fall is coming close. So take a few minutes to write these answers, and there is no right answer. It's individual to you. Take 1 more minute. Okay. So next slide, I have my thoughts on this. And I like you to compare and see. If you have something I don't have, please put it in the comments. I'll be looking at the chat box. So I'm going to show you the next slide now. It's like a game. There's a name for this game. Boggle, I think boggle or something. Did you get something I missed? I got, okay, chat. Okay, nice. Daylight hours are less, shorter day. Oh, both of you are on the same page. Caitlin and Carla. Cold mornings, warm days, true. More serious? That's so true. Fun of summer is over. Yeah. Anything else? I'll give you a minute. I think we've covered more or less everything. Okay. Now, what I want to bring to your attention is this is really important to me. So I hope you all are paying attention. This is my first webinar. So when I'm in actual live classroom, it's easier to know if people are glassy-eyed or they are really watching. So let's see. Here you will notice something very interesting. Okay. Whatever is happening in the environment around us is also happening within us. Okay, let me give you an example. Everything is drying outside. You feel the dry air. If you hang clothes to dry, they will dry so quickly. Everything is dry outside. And now when you focus on yourself, your skin is dry. Your eyes could be dry. Your stools are dry, like you could have you could be constipated, you could have incomplete bowel movement. So this is again dryness. Okay, and let me give you one kind of warning here. In Ayurveda we talk about bowel movement a lot, so please don't cringe. You know why? I think you know why. It's the body speaking to us. The body is always speaking to us. It's important to see. Like we used to check for our babies, it's important to check for ourselves even today, how we are doing in the bathroom. So now next, the wind starts blowing faster, right? So there is a mobility in the wind. When you bring it personally, now your mind is very mobile. You have so many thoughts. You start doing one thing and suddenly you start doing something else. You are also moving around just like the wind. Okay. Third, it's cold outside and we start feeling cold. And just by show of hands, how many of here today have cold hand and cold feet? Everything else is fine, but hands and feet are really cold. See, I see 3 hands. Rest actually, yeah, that's okay, I guess. Yeah, I couldn't see because the videos were off, but I know that many of us have this. So that is the coolness. So we cover dryness, coldness, it gets windy. And then we also want to cover light. You see when this leaf falls down, how light it is, right? So that lightness happens to us as well. So when you see anxiety in the mind, that anxiety is because the mind is not grounded. It is so light that it becomes very mobile and light. So these are the qualities we need to look for. Tomorrow, when your child comes to you and says, "Mom, my skin is dry," I like you to immediately remember, oh my God, it's dry outside, so he's dry. And now next, I will share with you what you can do when you realize this. So these are the 4 qualities of the fall season. You see them outside and you see them inside you. Now what I like you to do is make these columns: cold, dry, light and mobile. I think I already gave away these answers though. You can still do it. What I like you to do is you read these answers and you try to put them in these three boxes. So first you write this: cold, dry, light, mobile, and then I'll show you the previous slide. Even the idea, the point that you came up with, that the summer is over and the daylight savings and it is the sunlight is lesser, that also comes under cold, because now it gets colder. The sun is not there to warm us up. So this is the page. Now you can just try, either you can do it mentally or you can write it. Like, where would you put this in different boxes? Is it cold? Is this dry? Is this mobile or light? Some people become very sensitive. Like, I was so sensitive when that friend told me about her child and reading books. I was so sensitive and I had no self-esteem, right? Someone who is out of balance in the fall, his mind will stay in the future as well. Because the mind is not grounded, when he's eating lunch, he's thinking about dinner. When he's eating dinner, he's thinking about next day breakfast. Okay. So this is for you to understand the qualities in the weather outside, right? Now, before I go to the next slide, I just want to ask you guys, does anyone have a guess that now that you've noticed what's happening to you, what will you do to balance? You can put it in comments. Although I would have liked to hear some voices. Ground, that's a great one. Yes.
I can increase drinking my water or liquids.
Because you are dry, Carla?
Because I'm dry.
Okay, that's a good one.
I like to oil my body to keep my skin from drying out, because I have very, very dry skin. So I like to oil my body regularly, daily.
Okay.
That makes it nice.
Okay, very nice. Which oil do you use, Grace?
For my constitution, I use coconut oil.
So you've had...
because I'm Pitta.
Okay,
Pitta Vata. Yeah.
Okay. So she knows her dosha already. That's why she's talking about Pitta Vata. In my presentation today, I'm not talking about doshas purposely. I don't want to complicate it. I'm trying to keep it simple. Okay, so they are good answers. Now, if you notice, there's a thread in what everyone said. And that thread is basically you are balancing. If you're dry, you're oiling. You're dry, you're having water. What was the third one? Yeah, it's grounding. So if you feel light, you are grounding. Now let's see. So this is the classification that I had done. The same thing that you did. It's the same classification. Here, I also want to share quickly. You see, in cold, I have written aloofness. You know, when someone has too much out of balance with the weather, with the fall weather, that means that they become aloof. Now they don't want to meet friends. Although, actually, to balance, if it is cold, you want warmth, right? If it is cold, you want people to warm you up. You want a warm conversation. You want a warm coffee. That is your natural way of balancing. But if you go too out of balance, you start craving the same quality. If it's cold outside, you want to crave cold, which means you become a cold person. Now you don't want to meet anyone. So if that happens to you, you will now remember maybe that, okay, maybe I'm too cold. I need to balance. Okay, next. How are we balancing? For cold, we do warm. For dry, we do moist, which is the oiling. And for light and mobile, we do grounding. How do we do these things? Okay, I'm going to share the next slide. You can see how can we actually do these things. These are so simple. Before I show you, remember I went to the doctor and I asked her what's happening. She said, I need grounding. She said, I need warmth. She said, I need oiling. So she gave me some herbs, which were completely natural herbs, and I don't need them anymore. But at the same time, she asked me to drink water, just like Carla said. But there's a difference. Now here, can anyone tell me, if I am having water and it is cold outside, should the water be warm or cold? Warm, right? Yeah. Do we want warm water? How many people in this country just want ice water? Yes. Okay. I can see Caitlin saying no. So that's good, Caitlin. But there are many people, like yesterday I had a call with someone who kept coughing and he told me, give me a minute. He took a bottle full of ice. I couldn't even see the water. And he had that. And he's coughing and he told me, because of my cough, I need to have this water. And it was hard for me not to tell him, like, please get warm water, but it's okay. What can I do? I can only send him a link to my presentation. Then it's his choice. Coming back. This is what helps us. And these are small things which we can do day to day. So easy, so simple. And I don't want you to start with everything. No. Just one thing you can choose. That's fine. Just start with one thing. I like you to read everything. Maybe I will. So this I'm a little confused. Should I read them out to you or do you want to read it? What does Carla say? I can see her nodding.
I was like, no, you don't have to read it to us, but maybe there's a couple points that you just want to emphasize.
Elaborate? Okay. Let's see. So when I send you the deck, you see all the underlined points, they actually have a URL connected. So you can actually see videos on how to do it. Quickly, I can say when you see warm, you understood what we mean by warm. Warm spices is, doesn't mean spicy food, but warm spices is all your ginger, your cloves, your cumin, most of the spices are good for us. That's why I think we like pumpkin spiced latte in Starbucks. I think that's the reason. Warm people hugs, lot of hugs. You know, in your own family, you will notice one child will be more susceptible to fall season than the other. And that child will also be the child who needs to touch everything. You'll be screaming at him in the shop, don't touch, but he has to touch because he is sensory. And hugs help these kids so much and us. I know a lot of people like to exercise outdoors. Please cover your ears. you will notice, okay, positive self-talk. So remember, I had no self-esteem. The doctor asked me to write 5 positive points about myself every morning. So that's why I've written positive self-talk. We are so quick to criticize ourselves. But if you criticize yourself, now you remember, this is not you. That means you can be into balance when you will stop criticizing yourself. Maybe something in your diet or your lifestyle is increasing the fire element in you, which makes you criticize yourself. Okay? Cold food, leftovers, ice, no. Let's see in the dry and moist. We need to oil our ears and nose with sesame oil. Why we choose sesame oil? This is especially for Grace since she's already massaging. Sesame oil has an innate quality of warmth. So it is extra helpful when it comes to fall season. If you find sesame oil too greasy at night before sleeping, when you put it on your feet, then you take a tissue and you wipe off the excess, and then you can go to sleep. In grounding, we avoid caffeine. I know it is hard for many people to avoid caffeine. Maybe you can reduce it. But remember that when we drink caffeine, the body thinks there's an emergency. And it gives you an adrenaline rush. Do you want to live like you're in an emergency all the time? Maybe after balancing yourself with food and lifestyle, you might not need so much coffee. Yog Nidra. Yog Nidra is an excellent tool during fall season. How many of you know Yog Nidra? I need to know that. Can you put up your electronic hand so I can understand how many of you know? Who knows about Yog Nidra? I see Grace knows, Caitlin knows, Janine knows. Okay. So Yog Nidra is something which you do for half an hour. And it gives you sleep almost worth 3 hours, deep sleep. It is a guided kind of meditation on YouTube. You have so many of them. I have put the link I like. What you do is just lie on your bed, play the meditation, and just listen and follow the directions. Usually I sleep off within 5 minutes of the Yog Nidra. And when I wake up, I feel so fresh. This is extremely useful in fall season because if you notice, one of you wrote that in fall season, we are preparing for hibernation and we are slowing down. Who was that? Was that Carla? Okay, great. Yeah, you're bang on, Carla. When we are slowing down, in Vata season, the wind is very fast. So many times you've seen, right? And very powerful. How many trees it can actually topple with its power. Now that wind makes us also go in circles. We also do a lot of stuff. Our calendar will be completely full of activities, right? Because the wind is making us do it. If we want to balance, do we let that happen? No, what we do, we cut down on the items in our calendar. We take a break in the day, in the afternoon. Either we take a short nap or we do a Yog Nidra. Yog Nidra will recharge us for the next day. You just have to do it once and you will know the difference it makes. And then you'll probably be addicted to it, like me. Okay. I think most of them are covered. Morning pages, I have put the link. Sleeping by 10 p.m. Avoiding raw salads. So people think salad is very healthy.
Can I ask a question here?
Okay, sure. Who is this? 1 minute. Let me stop sharing. Yeah. Who wants to ask a question?
Hi, this is Nirupama.
Yeah, hi Nirupama. Tell me.
Hi. I was just looking at the presentation and under light
and mobile.
Hmm?
You had avoid raw foods and have seasonal sweet fruits. Now,
Correct.
how is that linked to being light or mobile or
Very
mobile?
nice. Excellent question. Okay. By the way, all questions are welcome. No right or wrong question, because what you're thinking, mostly all others might be thinking as well. So you're helping everyone. So let's see. You said sweet fruits and not to have raw salad, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. When we have a kale salad, we see kale growing. Does kale grow under the ground or above the ground? Above the ground.
Above the ground.
Right? That means it is so light that it doesn't let gravity affect it. It grows up straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if kale is light in quality, do we want light? No.
No.
Because to balance, we want grounding. We don't want food that is light. Remember, in Ayurveda, everything is made of 5 elements, which decides the qualities of that element. For example, if I am light right now, and I meet a friend who is also light like me. Okay, let me see. I'm someone who is experiencing lightness. I have a lot of anxiety. Okay. Now I meet a friend who is also light and having a lot of anxiety. What will happen when I meet her? We both are going to just feed off each other's energy and become even more anxious. So this is what will happen when you eat salad. The salad is also properties light, and you are already light. That's not going to help you. You want grounding. So naturally, if you see, you make friends who ground you, who balance you. Okay. Now coming to sweet fruits. Something that is sweet. Sweet is in general a heavy taste. So when you eat something heavy, sweet fruits, they help ground you. Okay. Raw salads is a complete no-no. If you really love your salads, please saute them. Now, how does sauteing help them? How does sauteing help a salad? It was light to start with. Why do we saute it? Does anyone have any guesses? Yes,
It
Carla?
warms it up.
It warms it
up.
Absolutely right. So you have a warm salad and that's perfectly fine. Remember, have water, but remember warm water. Keep a flask with you the whole day with warm water. You can drop a piece of ginger in it. So you have now warm ginger water the whole day and you will notice the difference. Okay, coming back. Any other questions since we already have one question? Did anyone have any question before I go back? Is everyone following? Show me plus, minus.
There is one
Good.
question from Grace, Anu.
Okay.
He asks, is there a spice catalog for the seasons that you recommend? So that's kind of on this topic.
It's a very good question. I do have a sheet that I have prepared. It's a doc. It's a word doc. I can email that to all of you. It has recommendations for food. So it will have the spices. It will have what kind of food to emphasize. So I think that will be helpful to all of you. So I will make a note and I will email that to all of you. Okay. But mostly all spices are really good for us, especially ginger, because it is warming. But here with ginger, you have to be a little careful. You know, this is when listening to your body comes in. If you are a person who doesn't feel that cold in the weather, if you have ginger, you are going to feel really hot. So have ginger the days when it is really cold and you are feeling cold, not other people feeling cold. You are your own person. Listen to your own body. If you don't like ginger, but you are cold often, that's a good question. You could try ginger powder. Ginger powder, dry ginger powder. That is really good too. Okay. And that has a sweet taste, whereas ginger has a very sharp, pungent taste. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Yeah, you can see it. Great. Essential oils are wonderful. I use them all the time. Next slide. Okay, for some reason, let's see. Yeah. Now, this is important. We should not hold on to natural urges. This is what Ayurveda says. See, remember, Ayurveda believes body is very intelligent. Body is trying to maintain homeostasis through our urges. But when we try to hold on to our urges, we are telling the body, who are you? I am the boss. You listen to me, right? What are these urges? You can read this. There are some children who hold on to their to the bathroom, like urine or whatever it is, for so long because they're busy playing. And then you will notice that the qualities of cold, air, mobile, all these qualities you'll see in them going up. Okay, here many people fast. They do religious fasting, but in fall season, it is advisable not to fast. Why? Because fasting is again being light. Now you have no food in your stomach, you're light. So it's not a good idea in fall. These are some, I just have 3 tips for you. If you find everything too much, maybe you can just start with this. This is the morning when you wake up. You can start your morning with this. You can do 3 rounds of alternate nostril breathing. I have a link which will show you how to do it. If we have time later, we can do it as well. Let's see. And before sleeping, have a cup of boiled and cooled milk, which is still warm, teaspoon of ghee, pinch of cardamom, nutmeg, and ginger powder. If you don't have all these spices, just choose any. And if you don't have milk, you can even have just warm water and a teaspoon of ghee at night. What does this do? When we are sleeping at night, this goes into our body and nourishes it and moisturizes it from inside. So morning when we get up, it is easier for a bowel movement. Having a bowel movement in the morning, usually between 6 and 7 a.m., is another sign that our body is in balance, is doing well. So when you sleep, when you have this milk and you go to sleep, usually it helps you go in the morning. Okay. Yeah. So now I just have you thinking about what can you implement from all the suggestions. So you can either group it like I have done it, like warm, moist, grounding, or you can just note your suggestions. So what I will do is I will show you this slide first for a few minutes, and then I'll move on to the previous slide. So you can note what you think is doable by you. Okay. And then this slide. Even if you write 1 point, that's fine. And even if you write nothing, that's also fine. One more minute.
Anu, I have a question.
Okay.
Why should we avoid leftovers?
Okay. So what happens is, Kala, fresh food has the maximum chi in it. You know, prana, chi, correct? And the qualities of the food change over time. The more it rests in the kitchen or in your refrigerator, its qualities will change and now it will become dry. Have you ever noticed that you put something in the fridge and you bring it out and now you need to add water to it because it has dried up? So now it has dry already. Now it has also become light. So many times something like even a bread, if it is lying for too long, it starts becoming light. So the qualities that we are avoiding, all those qualities are in leftover food. So what I do, it is hard to cook fresh food every time, definitely. What I do is morning I cook and I eat that by evening. So I can have the same thing for lunch and dinner, something like that. Or at the most, today's dinner I'll have for lunch tomorrow. But you do the best you can, you know.
Thank you.
Welcome, thanks. Okay, so let's see what's next on my slide. So Ayurveda helps you become the person you want to be. That's how it helped me. Today, it's so funny, but when I meet people, they tell me I calm them. It is so funny. I couldn't have believed it a few years back. Okay, I'm going to do a recap and then I would like to hear you guys. Okay, so what we understood is what is Ayurveda. We saw that. We identified what are the qualities in the fall season, how the qualities that we see outside, we also see inside us. We can balance with these qualities just through our food and our lifestyle. Now, my question to you is, my first question where I want to hear your voices is, what will you implement in your own life? I'm going to stop sharing and put up your electronic hand maybe, and then we'll, Bree, can you call on them?
Sure, I can.
Okay, great.
Let's see.
You can show me your faces if you like, otherwise also it's fine.
I don't see any signs at the moment or any hands at the moment.
Okay, anything you want to implement, even one or two.
Oh, okay. Tripti has her hand up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tripti. Oh,
Yeah,
you're on mute. Tripti, we can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Anu.
Hi.
It was wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I've done your class before, your workshop before, but I did come up with 3 points that I should implement again. So
Okay.
I want to do Yog Nidra.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that before, like follow YouTube and everything that way. So I will try that. I do like raw salads. I think our whole family has been into eating raw salads, but I think now the fall season coming, that's a good point that we shouldn't be eating raw salad. We should saute some before. So I'll try to implement that going forward. And having ghee at bedtime. You give Krishan, my son, we give him milk at bedtime, but I think it would be a nice idea for us to have some ghee also. So we probably implement something like that. So those 3 points that I think I'm going to take at least. and then I'll go through the slides and then see if I have anything more. But thank you.
That's a great
Sure.
beginning.
All
By
right.
the way, I still have more slides left. I'm just taking a
Oh.
break right now, just letting you guys know.
Okay. Okay.
So thanks
right.
for sharing, Trupti. And I want to add here, since when we do Yog Nidra, we keep a gap between meals and Yog Nidra. So if you've just eaten your lunch, you will ideally wait for an hour before you do Yog Nidra.
Okay.
Why is that? Because when we do any kind of meditation, all the blood rushes to our head. That's why we start feeling cold. We are asked to wear a blanket so many times while meditating. If we have just eaten food, we don't want the blood to rush to our head. We want it in our stomach to digest our food. So you digest your food, take an hour, and then you do your yoga. Okay? Who else wants to share?
Okay.
Caitlin, you have a question?
Follow up on that. What about using the Yog Nidra at bedtime? I've done
That's
that
a great idea.
and then
Yeah, just keep the gap between the meal and the Yog Nidra, and bedtime you'll sleep off. Like 5 minutes you'll be out, but you will sleep like a baby.
Of course, I work
Yeah.
every day for
Who else? Someone was raising the hand. Bree, did you see?
Oh, yeah. So Carla raised her hand, and then also Nirupama had her hand raised too. So
Okay, I think we'll take Carla and Nirupama, and then I think let's move on to questions as well. I don't want to miss out on questions. Okay.
okay.
Where's Carla? Is Carla there? Did she log out?
Oh, it looks like she was maybe bumped off. I don't see her on here
So
anymore.
let's do Nirupama then.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for this, Anumeha. I think it was quite insightful. I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah.
Me, it's going to be my first fall as such, because back in India, I think seasons don't change or things don't change as much. And now that I've moved countries, it's going to be a first fall for me. So right now, I think the first thing I'm going to do is probably listen and see how is my body reacting, and notice the changes first, and then accordingly, yeah, most important probably is cover ears, get some warmth in whichever way that is possible. And yeah, I mean, those are the primary things that I'm going to do. First is ground and listen to my body as to how is it reacting to fall, and then apply the changes and apply the things that you've shared with us. So yeah, this is going to be the first fall. So I'm not as aware of the changes that others in the group already are. So yeah, looking forward to this.
So Nirupama, I think it's very timely for you because you just moved countries. You come from tropical place like Mumbai straight to Canada, I think.
Yeah.
Right? That's a huge change. And I want to share that when I moved from India to here,
yes,
remember the mind and body are connected. So the reason I reacted to fall so badly was because now I had changed countries and experienced such cold weather. And second, I had lost my whole village, my family, everyone was in India. I was here all alone, right? So I was missing the warmth of people. So what I did is I joined a school which has parents, and I got a circle, community. So it is very important to build a community in some way to keep warm. Okay. Is my network okay? Yeah. Who else is next?
Yeah.
Carla is here?
No, I don't think Carla's here, but there are 2 more questions in the chat, or 3 more questions in the chat.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. Okay, so Grace was asking, would oat milk be a good substitute for cow's milk?
Yeah, that should be fine. Yes, you can have warm oat milk.
Okay. All right. And then Caitlin asked, what are the best, easiest things to incorporate for kids?
For kids.
Yeah,
Great
that's a
question. Great
topic for me
question.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you what I do. I have one very picky eater, and the other one is also following suit. So what is practically that I can do? I'm doing. I try to massage their body once a week. They don't do it daily, but once a week. I encourage them for that. How I do it is I offer them a bubble bath. Like for a bubble bath, they can do the oiling and then sit in the bubble bath. Then second thing is if you can have them have the warm milk, that really helps calm them down. Cold milk is a big no-no. It will only add to the problem. Let me go over the slides so I can tell you.
I also just wanted to say, I think you can, for us, it helps if I shift the food. So, you know, what they're eating for dinner, just try to focus more on soups and stews and warm things. And usually I can wander around until I find something they're willing to eat, you know, but I can, you know, it can be something like my younger son who tends to be, is kind of on the Vata side. He really likes beef stew. So with potatoes, so, you know, and it's very warm and stuff. And so you can find something that they like that's a stew or a soup. I think that is good.
Right. Thanks. Thanks, B. That was great. Yeah. I think I also do the oatmeal a lot. Breakfast changes to oatmeal every morning. That helps them have a good start of the day. I try to get them to carry warm water in their bottles to school. Cover their ears is a must. Yeah, giving them warm food. You know, even fruits can be sauteed. You can saute an apple and it tastes pretty good. Saute the apple a little bit, put some cinnamon powder on it, and you can have it. So that's one thing. Oiling ears and nose. I'm able to convince them to oil their ears. So we do that. I massage their feet at night when they go to sleep sometimes. They don't like sesame oil, it's too oily. So I use almond oil instead. I always play relaxing music in the car, at home. You know what's the best thing about kids? There's a saying, a Chinese saying actually. To heal the child, heal the mother. And I realized that myself. So many times we want to heal everyone in our family. I think first wear the oxygen mask yourself. That's what I did. Okay.
All right. Judy also asks, when does fall start in Ayurvedic?
So, you know, Judy, this is like when you start watching outside, right now you will see the transition will start. And mornings and evenings will be so cold and afternoon will be so hot. This is known as actually Ritu Sandhi in Hindi, which means the junction of two seasons, which goes on for 15 days. Now, this is the time when most of us also fall sick. Change of season. The trick during change of season is to not overload your body with too much food. There's a song. Anything can happen if you let it. So many times we don't let our body take care of ourselves by overloading it with too much food. So if you if you don't eat too many meals, don't do much snacking, the body can easily be in harmony with the change of season. And then when fall strikes, I don't know the exact date because I'm usually looking out of my window to see that now it's fall, but it just gets colder in the afternoon. And that's how I know it's fall. So what I do is morning and evening when it's cold, I use the fall recommendations. I don't do it in the afternoon. because it's still hot. And then slowly the afternoon becomes cold too. Okay, but I will send you the exact dates in the email that I send later. Okay. I have a few more slides and then I can take a few more questions. Should we do that? Let's do that. Share screen. Yeah. I want you to read this. Okay, this I'm just going to share with you what happens when you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner. Some of them offer a clarity call. They are trying to and then they, if you book with them, the clarity call is generally free. And then when you book with them, they understand what are the elements in you. Like Grace said that she is a Pitta or a Vata Pitta. So basically, what are those 5 elements? What is their proportion in you? Then what is out of balance? Then how can you be brought back to balance? They'll give you a lifestyle, food, recommendations, herbs. And you have counselors who focus on preventive health, where you don't have any major issues, but you just want to avoid major issues in the future. And then you have practitioners and doctors who can also help with healing chronic diseases and major issues. Here, technically, they don't heal you. Technically, they bring your body to a place where the body can heal itself. That's what all of us are trying to do. Usually, I have noticed in my experience, people are not in this profession to make money. Usually, they have suffered and found relief through Ayurveda, and that's how they become counselors, practitioners, and doctors. And yet, doctors, many of them are from India. So they are actually trained in 4 years of the proper MBBS course. How do you know if you are ready for Ayurveda? How do you know? I knew because I wanted to take my health in my own hands. I didn't want to be dependent on anyone to keep curing me while I never knew the cause of my problems. If you want to understand that there could be a cause for the problems you're facing, and it might be looking very complicated, but might have simple solutions, and you're curious, it's just worth booking a clarity call with anyone. Just book a free clarity call just to see and explore if Ayurveda is for you. Finally, what you are seeking is seeking you. My favorite quote from Rumi: it will find you, it will find you. It could find you through a book. It could find you through me. It found you today through this workshop. So it can just find you anytime. And these are some books. Usually people like to know some books to read. These are books which will be in your email. They're in the deck. These are questions I'll ask you a little later. If you don't mind, and if it is still 5:30 and if you have time, I would love to hear in comments or by talking, what did you like about today's workshop? What do you wish and what do you wonder? My last slide is thank you, and I have my contact details website if you want to get in touch with me. I do offer a 30-minute clarity call if you were ever curious. Okay, so before we go on to what you like, wish, and wonder, let's see if we can get some more questions in. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, I don't see anybody with their hand raised at the moment.
Any feedback? You can give me feedback as well.
I have a question, Anu.
Yeah.
This is a tough one for me. Someone already asked it. How do you get your kids involved in eating healthier? You know, I try by cooking seasonal foods during the season, but like having to cut them over to, I don't know, cleaner foods. How would you do that Ayurvedic wise? You know, my kids love heavy meat. They want to eat meat every day. They want to be in that snack cupboard every day, even though I limit the snack cupboard, you know, and I say, did you have a piece of fruit yet? Did you have a piece of fruit yet? Like, how do you slowly get them to incorporate? Because I'm trying to eat Ayurvedically. I'm trying, but I don't want to cook 2 meals anymore. So how do you slowly do that? Migrate, I guess.
That is a great question. I know even I had that question for a long time. So the thing is, I'm going to give you answers from on many dimensions here. Many dimensions, okay? The first dimension is, in Ayurveda, they say it's better to have the right attitude while eating. That is even more important than eating the right food. Okay? If today I hate salad, but I saute salad, I hate it, and I'm just eating because some workshop, some lady told me that, I'm not going to digest it. At the same time, if I love raw salad like anything, and I just have to have it, I will digest it because I just love it so much. Okay? So that is one thing which comes in. Forcing our kids to eat anything healthy doesn't benefit them finally. So in the long run, it's not going to really help. Second, they might be children, but they are actually souls. You are a soul, they are a soul. They have their own journey, we have our own journey. I grew up eating all Indian, mostly Ayurvedic compliant food in India. Still, I reached a breaking point in my life, right? My parents could do nothing about it. Because that was my journey. I had to suffer through it and learn from it. So if the child naturally wants to eat meat, which is the case for my son, and I am talking about Ayurveda, I let him eat it because he relishes it. What I take care is I try to keep a gap between meals for him, because overloading our digestive tract with too much food is a big mistake. So I try, and he's good at that. So that's good. So I think give yourself grace and just focus on yourself. They have their own journey. If they deliciously, happily eat that piece of candy also, chocolate also, whatever you think is, my God, no, so wrong. No, don't worry. Again here, if they have that candy, if they're having one candy and I make a face, oh, that's so unhealthy, that candy will not be digested. So if I'm not liking that they're having candy, I move away from the room so they don't see my reaction. Because I want them to be totally with that candy and enjoying that candy. Okay? Yeah. Any other question? And there's also a book, let me put it, it's an amazing book by John Duyard. He has written about this feeding kids Ayurvedic food. Yeah. So I think we are all good.